Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Viewers, comments and questions. Dan here.
Mick here. Hello.
Fabulous. Hope you're all doing awesome.
Indeed. Yes, happy Monday. BV, thank you for everything. Sorry,
Yes.
We were running around doing other things just before Q&A started. So VCQ started. So we've got lots and lots of super chats. We've got 35 super chats, I think,
Boy,
to get through. I really hope I've switched them off. We don't normally have this many. So we're very grateful for all your super chats. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Yeah, thanks
And
everyone.
we'll endeavour to answer them as fully as possible.
Reeves Electro says, evening chaps, I see lexicon prices aren't up. That's very good. No, they wouldn't be. Thanks for that, Marcus. Yeah.
There's
Loads
loads of good suggestions
A
came
little
in.
bit of salt. And just get that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am going to have a look at the caps and all that stuff, and because I think fundamentally the idea was sound, but man alive.
Execution, not so much. Yeah. I want to try it in an effects loop as well. And I also want to try it on balanced connectors.
I'm going to do all that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because part two, we've got a part two of the challenge. And that's going to be in part two of the challenge. I'm going to go through all that and just see what it is, because there's no way they could release a product like that with that much noise.
Yeah, I think once you put it on TRS things and have it like in its intended environment, which is on TRS connectors as a parallel effect in a mixer,
I'll have to see.
I think that's where it would be, but you introduce it to guitar world.
Yeah. Of course.
Anyway, we would, like you say, we will see. I have made some headway with the rubberneck. I better make the podcast record. None of which is good.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and
Hello to all our podcast friends.
Yes, or at least those people on Patreon.
Exactly.
Listening via Patreon. Thank you for being a TPS patron. Yeah, I made some headway with the rubberneck, none of which is good.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but there's an interesting... Anyway, I shan't reveal what is going on with that. Anyway, who is on this evening, Daniel? We've got...
It's Paul87 is on. Zoot Aluas is on. Music Therapy Laz. Hello, you awesome, beautiful person. John Pardo is on. Eagle Ray Rob. Simon VRDJ.
Eagle Ray Rob says, Lexicon, aren't they a pedalboard company? Mark Gallagher Music. Does the Lexicon not take AC voltage? Yes, it does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's right. And it comes with an AC supply.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Mesa Guitar Guy, Kyle Harkus, Jim Boydie, Frankie Walnuts. Sound like a East End kind of geezer. Frankie Walnuts.
Mickey the Nose. Frankie
Actually,
Walnuts.
Wasn't Frankie Walnuts a Fast Show character, maybe? Maybe.
That's your area.
New season of Gone Fishing has started.
Mick sent me a picture. I spent the weekend in beautiful Cornwall, and Mick sent me a picture of his new attire during the Gone Fishing episode, and it brought a levity to the evening, shall we say. It was wonderful. Beep, 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 peppers.
Simon V. RDJ, thank you for the reminder about recording the podcast. Yes, it is. And to BV as well. And Charbono and Tim Holder. And Bart Vandelisdonk from Holland. Mark's Gas Station. Tom Drawstrings. Brian Carpenter. K. Cole 4001. All lovely friends. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks everyone. It's amazing. Housekeeping. Monday, 27th
I'm
of
doing the
October.
housekeeping music tonight.
Okay. Fab. Patron giveaway. Reminder to all patrons. October's giveaway expires tomorrow at midnight UK time. If you haven't entered it already, get on it. As a reminder, there are 2 UA pedals up for grabs and we'll pick 2 winners out of the hat. We have the 1176 compressor and the Brigade chorus and vibrato. They're both fantastic, so get in there. And some TPS store news to let you know that our lovely overshirts are back in stock. So that's these things, which I just live in. The black and khaki are back in stock. Thanks to everyone who bought one over the weekend. They are going fast. If you want a overshirt, get on it because they won't be there for long. And Facebook, the TPS official fans group. That's all it says.
Oh yes, has reached 20,000 people.
Oh my goodness!
Which
Wow.
The one that BV I think moderates and sets up.
Wow.
I have no idea about Facebook, but to everyone on Facebook, thank you so much for being
That's
part
so
of that
cool.
group, and we hope you find it useful and interesting.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Beautiful. I like that. I like that very much. Gordon Neal says hello from Athens. Oh, it's been too long since we've been in Athens. Can we do another thing with Jam?
Let's do it.
And Crazy Tube Circuits. Can we go over there and just have a big Athens party?
And Sakalis.
Dude,
Yeah.
surely we'll have a fuzz off. I think we should do that.
Loving it.
All right.
Loving it. Loving it. Loving it. Loving it. Loving it like this. Okay, let's get into the super chats because we've got quite a lot to get through tonight. So we will
Okay.
do our best to gallop through them,
Okay.
but with some useful information.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. Plexico, Duncan.
Hey, mate.
Good to hear
First
from you
in,
again, buddy.
There we go.
We've got one. You've come in with 2, and your question is: Hi DNM, did the guitar world get a jolt from Gibson's Back to the Future offerings? I certainly did when I checked the price of the 345 package. Graciousness.
Now, there's a bit of controversy around that guitar because technically it's anachronism because that specific guitar wouldn't have been available in 1955. Is that right?
Well, definitely wouldn't have been available in 1955.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I don't know what year. Is that what year the concert was supposed to be?
yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever that's but there you go.
Yeah, wouldn't have been around till about 59, I don't think, in that configuration.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yes, I don't know if part of the money is going to him or a foundation or a charitable trust, is it? And if it is, that would make more sense. But yes, the full package was quite expensive, like many thousands. Anyway, thanks, Duncan. Tom Kuluri, hey Tom. I've played hundreds of gigs with a Les Paul, says Tom. Now I'm playing in a dance funk band with a Strat. Is playing with a compressor always on cheating?
No, if you're doing the funk clean thing, it's almost, I'm not going to say required, but it does help. And I think especially if you're into an amp that's got a lot of headroom and you want to tame those transients, yeah, great.
Depends what amp you're using, doesn't it?
Yeah, completely.
I think if you're in that world of direct or digital, I think it's absolutely required. If you've got something like a Deluxe or a Hot Rod or something like that, or a tube amp that will compress naturally, then it's much less required. But as we are hearing from the comments all over the weekend, nobody in the world is allowed to play loud anymore. So yeah, I guess it depends on application.
yeah.
Yeah, and also it's a great sound, right? It's such a great sound for that rhythmic playing, especially when you start to monkey about with how much of the dry signal's in and how much isn't. Because it's too much, and then you don't notice the compression on the on the waka waka. But if the compressor is too squashy, then you get lost. So there's some middle ground there somewhere. Nice. But nice to hear that you're playing in a band, presumably in front of humans. That is a really,
brilliant.
really groovy thing.
Yep.
Johnny T.
Johnny T.
We'll let Dan answer this one. Best bang for buck ISO power supply for under £150.
Ooh, under 150. It depends what you want. It depends how many things you're powering, but I would go with the Palmer.
Oh, interesting.
I think the Palmer's
I
for
thought
that
you were going to
price
say
is really
that
good.
one doesn't exist.
Well, for that price, the best I would come up with would be that.
It's funny, we've plugged quite a few in, and all of a sudden you hear this, and it's like, is that isolated? It says isolated on the top. So obviously you know better than most people there are different ways of doing the isolation.
Yeah.
Some of which are Tone City. I have to say, every time we go to Anderton's and do something there, Lee and Pete always use the Tone City ones, which are like pennies.
Okay.
Well, I say they're pennies. They're very, very, very cost effective.
Right. Okay. And they're good?
Well,
They're fine.
we used it and I didn't hear any noise.
There you go.
So so check out Tone City. I don't know what the Dunlop ISO brick is like. Maybe because I'm dreadfully old-fashioned, I tend to trust brands that have been around a bit longer. Actually, I think it's the MXR ISO brick. I've had 3 or 4 DC bricks down the years, which are definitely not isolated.
Yeah. In their own way.
Somebody was telling us in the comments today that you can pick up like no-name Chinese ones for soup, or they're all Chinese, but you can pick up no-name ones for crazy low money that are also rechargeable off a...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
5...
Yeah.
5... Was it 5 volts? 5
From the USB...
phone
input.
charger.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Again, can't vouch for how silent they are, but it's a crapshoot, isn't it?
Also, there's... what's it called? There's one that is called... It'll come to me in a minute. I'll let you know. There's another one that's quite good.
There's quite a few people suggesting things.
Yeah.
In the list. Harley Benton, obviously, the Thomann brand. It's quite interesting. I was looking at a Fender one today, and it looks really... I'm not casting aspersions here. I'm saying it just looks so similar to the little Strymon one. Like very, very similar.
Yeah.
Anyway, blah, 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 blah. Is Chocs true isolation, says Sword 5420.
Yeah, the Chocs is really good.
Yeah, I've always thought the Chocs is...
Yeah.
If I didn't know Dan and didn't have gig rig, I would use Chocs, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True Tone is the other one. Yeah, True Tone are good.
Yeah, we do hear people say, look, I've been using a one spot and a daisy chain for 15 years and I've never had a single problem.
Yeah, so that all depends on the pedals. Like the daisy chain was invented by Boss, and they had a special thing with the way they designed their pedals. They were able to use the daisy chain. Not all of them, some of them, but one of the things they did with the daisy chain, if you use the daisy chain with some of their ACA pedals, the ACA pedals actually used 12 volts.
12 volts, yeah.
But if you use the daisy chain and that the earth linked up, you were able to use 9 volts. But if you didn't and you used a 9 volt supply, then you wouldn't get enough voltage. But using the daisy chain where you'd link the earth to the other pedals, it was very clever.
Oh wow!
It's like, see, it sounds good on a daisy chain. Oh, there's a reason for that.
Yeah, there's more to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And Johnny T also asks, do you have preferred scales for interesting solos?
Well, it depends what I try and do, and I've still find it really hard. I've always found this really hard, and I don't know why. Just to keep an idea of the chord in your head. It doesn't mean you have to play the chord every time, but if you're doing something, so you've got the B to the A to the E, right? Now, it's obviously in B. You can play the whole thing in B and not.
I'll play the chords for you, Dan.
Yeah. There we go. So you can
Wonderful,
play the
get a
whole thing in B
copyright strike.
but without. So that's just in B, or I can go.
Five. 1. Flat 7. 5.
So it's that thing where it can be really helpful just to have an idea of the chords that you're playing over, and it'll give you a couple of different notes to target out. I much prefer to think of it like that than thinking of scales.
Yeah.
But if you want to get into scales, a couple of really important ones to know: Mixolydian, which is the scale that happens over the 5 chord, which gives you the major third and the minor 7. That's a really important one to know. The Lydian, which is the sharp 4. That's really good. And then if you get into the jazz stuff and you've got the modes of the melodic minor scale, that's, when you get to the all that nonsense, that can be really really handy. But I try and think of it more of along the lines of chords as opposed to specific scales.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. I don't know. I know 2 scales. I know the major scale, like starting low and going up. And I know the minor pentatonic scale. So I have never, ever, ever learned scales, and I have no idea how to play a scale.
But you're melody led.
I understand something about chords, a small thing about chords, a little bit. But yeah, I am that for me, right? Because for whatever reason, I've never got into that, and I find it very hard to comprehend. I usually start with a vocal melody,
Right.
and so if I don't know what to play, I'll start by playing the vocal melody,
Yeah.
and then
That's the best way to start.
work it out from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sebastian Schlapper-Flash.
Schlapper-Flash.
Spelt in just the best German way ever. Schlapper. Flash. He says, here is a question regarding gain staging pedal order for bass. I'm running dry wet and would start with a Z-Vex Woolly, which I'm guessing is, what's that, a muff type?
Yeah.
Woolly
yeah,
Mammoth?
a lot of bass players love it. It's a really spectacular one.
A Titan 2 Fuzz by Spaceman, Buzz by Greuter, and a Jam Rattler bass, presumably,
Fab.
and a Pork and Pickle, which I guess is way huge, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I got one gain stage on my bass pedal board, and I struggle with that.
Yeah. So 2 really important things for bass. Yes, you need to have a look at if you're stacking those gain stages.
Yeah,
It's not so much which pedal, it's how you're using them. So start with same with guitar, start with the one that uses the most gain first, and then to the lower amounts of gain, because it makes stacking them, the pedal that has less gain, less compression, it's easier to put more gain into the front of it. But with bass, the most important thing is to have a direct signal around the outside of the fuzz, because so much of your definition and attack on bass can be lost in the maelstrom of just the, fuzz is all about the low frequency clipping, right? So having a a parallel line that goes around the outside of that, it's everything for bass. Really, really important. So, which is why a lot of bass fuzzers have
Mix.
the direct signal, the mix
Yeah,
thing in
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So, and an easy thing to do, what you can do with that is just have like a split and a sum at the start and the finish of your gain stages, and that will give you a parallel signal around the outside. Buffalo boys go around the outside. Buffalo girls.
Nana
remember.
Cherry?
Something.
Was that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know someone went around the outside. Something to do with a buffalo.
There you go. I'll just reiterate what he says. If you're not stacking them, don't worry about the order. If you stacked 2 of them, then only worry about the order of those 2 pedals, if that makes sense. But I'm so interested to hear if you stack any more than 2 of those, what that ends up as, because that is a big mess. But maybe that is required.
Yeah, can be.
Maybe that is required.
Mm-hmm. Someone is Marco C says is going to see Greg Koch tonight. Going to be grisly. Can you dig it?
Tonight?
Yes.
Yeah, he's in Putney, isn't he, tonight, I think?
Is he?
I've got some mates going, I think.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah.
Love Greg.
Gen G Ripper.
Well,
Gen G Ripper says, hi Legends, what's the best way to practice? Even when you're tired from a full day's work, how do you avoid noodling and increase the chances of learning new techniques? Any tips?
Yes. So, learn a song. Play along with a song. Why playing along with songs is so great, and all of our heroes did it growing up. They'd play along with records. You get to play along with something that's in time, which is hugely important. You also, I remember I was doing a session with this bass player in Sydney, and he went on to be like an absolute legend. What's the name of this funk band that he was playing with in Sydney? Anyway, he said he came from this little rural town, and I heard him start playing in the, like, warming up, and it was like he was absolutely mind blowing. I think his name was Ben. And anyway, I said, "How did you get so good?" He says, "I just spent all my life jamming with all the funk records." And he says, "As far as I was concerned, I'm playing with the best musicians in the world." And it's like, yeah, man, it's so cool. So play along with records. That's really important. If there's something that you love and you want to learn it, it's super important that you try to learn it by ear first. You may get to a point where you get stuck and then you go to tabs and that sort of stuff, but don't go to the tabs and videos first. Sit down and have a listen to the solo and just try and work it out. That will develop your ear. That is a hugely important thing.
Even if you can only get like the first and the last note to begin with.
Exactly.
You know.
What will happen is it's like a muscle, and you'll develop it.
Yeah.
And then you'll start to pick out things. It's like, oh, I know what that is because I've heard that before. And then your ear and your hand will start developing this link. Really, really important. So play with something that's in time. Try and learn stuff to develop your ear. And just learning songs that you love, like doing the analogs, the 70s stuff, and the songs that I've had to learn. And it has just been the most delightful thing. And I just getting up and just learning these songs, and yeah, it imbues a passion into practice. Yes, you can do the jazz and the harmony and all that sort of stuff, but learning songs gives you a way to apply it.
It gives you a basis of a structure as well. Because
completely.
if you find that your practice time is a bit, you're just resorting to what you know and doing noodles, then, which is fine, by the way, maybe you could divide it up into time. So if you say, well, I'm going to commit 30 minutes to this, then spend 10 minutes doing something structured. So that might be a lesson you've downloaded from TrueFire. It might be practicing scales. It might be some vigor techniques. It might be something that is written down and is structured, and it is practice. Spend 10 minutes learning something new, and then spend 10 minutes having a laugh playing along to a record. I'm not suggesting those are what you do, but by structuring it like that, you don't end up going, oh, I don't know what to play now. I'm a bit bored, so I'll go and do something else.
Have a goal with your practice.
Yeah, I think it's important to do some work
and have some fun
and have a reward.
Completely.
Yeah, because if it's all reward, you don't really get anywhere, and if it's all work, you get bored and give up.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
very good.
Good luck.
Good luck, mate.
Good luck, Jen. Morley Robertson. Hey Morley,
mate.
how are you? He says, D&M Friday's show was the best I've seen in ages.
Thank you, buddy.
Since Dan has never had a bad monkey, does that mean he's had some good monkeys? Please take one from the chat, and thanks for all you do for us. Thanks, Morley.
Bless you, mate.
Let us take a question from the chat then. Kaiser Joe says, Kaiser Joe 2316 says, can drawing too much current through one home power socket be a pain? I've got a couple of Strymon 300 milliamps and they blinked out until I used an auxiliary power supply.
So, all right.
It won't be the wall.
It won't be the wall because you know, no matter where you are in the world, there's more than enough current. So the current is going to be coming from whatever power supply you're using. There'll be a VIC-P, voltage, polarity, current, and impedance. Voltage, polarity, current. The current draw is how much the power supply is available. How much is available on tap, right? So it's really important to remember the difference between voltage and current. You measure voltage across a circuit. You measure current through the circuit. The current is the thing that's doing the work. The voltage is the thing that gives you, it's like a reservoir, but the current is the thing that does the work, right? So you measure voltage across a circuit. You measure voltage through the circuit. If you have got a power supply that has got 500 milliamps available at 9 volts, and you've got two pedals, they both take 500 milliamps at 9 volts, that is 1,000 milliamps. That's an amp. That one 500 milliamp supply will not be able to power both of those pedals. You need a power supply that has enough current available to deliver for those two 500 milliamp pedals. So if the pedals are blinking, it means that there's either not enough voltage available and not enough current available. Now, what happens with a lot of power supplies, if it's drawing too much current, the voltage will go down. And so I think what will happen with the Strymon is that the Strymon pedals are really sensitive to voltage. And if it ducks below 9 volts at all, they're just not going to work. So they have to have the voltage available. They have to have the current available. And what we'll find is as soon as you've plugged in the new supply, whatever, there was enough current available, pedals worked.
They also require different amounts of current depending what they're doing.
Exactly.
So on startup, for example, they'll require a lot. And then when they're running, maybe less. So it could be something to do with that if you're switching functions. Secondly, Dan has said before in the past that, and this has confused a lot of people, we would always recommend that you go way beyond the current requirement. So if it says it needs 300, make sure there's more available in your power supply for exactly all that stuff we just talked about.
Yeah.
So if you're running it right at the edge of its current requirement, then the chances of it doing exactly what you're talking about is much, much higher.
Yeah.
And then we get into the whole
that's right
murky world of good and not so good power supplies.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But that's it. Just make sure you've got enough on tap. I've got a generator, which is 5 amps, and I'll happily power a 10 milliamp pedal with that, which is 0.05% of the available current in that power supply. But the pedal will just take what it needs. You know, the only time you're ever going to have an issue with a pedal like that is if there's a short circuit and it suddenly starts drawing loads of current. But that means the pedal's broken. And if there is a short circuit, stuff should be short circuit protected anyway. So if I start delivering way too much current, then the power supply will shut down to protect your pedals. Another important thing. As you were.
Jacob Rocky Music says, Butler Tube Driver, thoughts? Yes.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely yes.
I have a 5 knob one and I love it. It's possibly my 3rd favourite overdrive pedal of all time ever.
Yeah. And I've got the BK Butler, not the BK Butler, I've got the Dean Markley Overlord, which is their design, their version of that. And it's such a great thing. The Crazy Tube Circuits Venus, man alive. Every time you kick that on Experience Day, I'm like, why didn't they send us 2 of those? I got very sad.
I'm sure we could get another one.
It's such a great thing. It does the higher gain thing so well. It keeps everything together, but it's so rich and, yeah, such a wicked thing.
Wicked thing. Michael Giliberto. Hey, Michael.
Buddy.
Good to hear from you. He says, love to you all at TPS HQ. I'm back at you, buddy. He says, looking forward to the upgrade challenge for another 250 quid. Please take a question from the chat. We just did. So, yeah, hopefully that will suffice, Michael. Yes. So for those of you who maybe haven't seen Friday's show yet or didn't watch until the end, our dear Irish aunt Anne O'Log has passed away.
It's genius.
Left this mortal coil. And she has left us each £250, a small amount of money to match our tiny brains. And so we can do that. We can do with that whatever we please.
To give us some more...
to move it along.
To move the boards along.
Yeah, and fix any problems that we might have,
yes.
Which are quite considerable. I was thinking about Analog's sister, Catherine. Catolog. Obviously, there are many.
Very good.
There's
Very good.
her brother, Monty, but I don't think you get many. Anyway, let's not go there. Well, says Raf Freitas. Well, watching you battle dodgy gear is oddly fun. It is. Oh, hang on, we've missed Frankie Walnuts. We'll come back to you, Frankie. There was a lot of sort of metaphorical forehead slapping in the comments I felt over the weekend from people. I know we take this far too seriously, but and I just I want to stand on the mountain and say there is a reason we use this insane gear, right? Now we can get into the law of diminishing marginal returns and we can draw the curve, can't we? We can say here's the law of diminishing marginal returns.
Mick is now going to grab a writing device to show you the law of diminishing marginal returns. There will be an exam on this at the end of the show, so we want you all to have your pen and paper ready. So here we go, and he's writing down information.
Right, law of diminishing marginal returns. This is the price axis.
Price axis.
And this is the how good it is axis.
Good axis.
How much return you get. Quality, performance. And the law of diminishing marginal returns looks like that. Right? So there comes a point where the more you spend, you're not getting any more good. Right? You all right, Dan?
Yes, just had to shut my eyes so that it would focus on the paper.
That boring.
No, it was brilliant. But I was looking at it, trying to go, that's amazing, but it kept going blurry.
Yeah.
So I said, Dan,
So
shut it. Shut it.
Robin's Dumble Overdrive Special is over there somewhere. It's not even on this graph, right? And we all want gear that's about here, don't we? On the point where the curve is the steepest.
Right.
So we're getting that is the maximum bang for buck
Yep.
place. Dan and I are past that. We're sort of here, where actually spending another however much isn't really giving you that much more performance. It's giving you like really, really, really marginal performance. What nobody bloody talks about is this point here. What's the minimum point of entry?
Yeah.
No one talks about that point.
Yep.
And unfortunately, when you've been doing this caper for 35 years and playing really, really nice guitars and amps and pedals and having the benefit of the good stuff and really understanding what makes it good, that point of I'm not doing it below this shifts out, and it's tough watching for
yeah, but it was nice to be reminded. Oh, we're lucky boys.
Yeah, well,
go.
lucky's one word for it.
Yeah.
You know,
in the big scheme of things,
prioritizing what is important to you.
completely. Yeah.
If it wasn't important to us, we wouldn't be doing this
That's
caper,
right.
would we?
That's right.
We wouldn't be doing it. So, yeah, it's probably the wrong thing for us to do a £250 pedalboard challenge, but it is interesting.
Yeah.
And as you say, Raf, it is fun watching us relive some of those early moments because, you know, all right, we live in this ridiculous world now, but of course we've done that. Of course we did it. That heart-sinking moment where you spend all the cash you have on something and it's not right. And then you've got to figure out, what the hell do I do now?
Yep.
I've got to sell it.
Especially if you take a chisel to it, and
Oh, I thought that turned out well.
that turned out brilliantly. But
Yeah.
I've taken a chisel to things before, and it hasn't turned out quite so well.
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Lots of interesting analysis coming in on the law of diminishing marginal returns. Yeah, absolutely. I like the idea of this third axis as well, i.e. the player variable. To what extent is the improvement going to be any use to you?
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's good.
Etc. Etc. Etc.
I dig it.
And
You dig it.
Will Wetherington points out the bleeding obvious. He says it means sometimes the most expensive things aren't worth it. Yeah, and that's
exactly right.
the basic point, isn't it?
And sometimes they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matchless.
Anyway, sorry about that. I don't know why I got into that. Carson Green.
Hey,
Carson
Carson.
Green. He says, I was deep into D-Land. Thankfully, Dumble, I think you're talking about. The Juggler, the Zen. Then my board broke, so I plugged in an oil can delay into the lead side of my Imperial and turned up. New world. Have you ever had a sound that sent you down a whole new path?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Far out.
And isn't it great when that happens?
It is.
Rediscovering Marshalls was the biggest one for me, I think.
Yep.
Where I'd had Marshalls as a younger man and not really understood. And then as time goes by, you're like, oh, that's what they're for.
Yeah.
And that was a big moment.
Yeah, completely.
Actually, finding the tube driver.
Tube driver was huge.
Yeah.
The D style valve OD thing for me, that was massive.
Tape delay.
Tape delay, the 12-bit delay.
Yeah.
You know, the Otto machines. I mean, just far out.
It never ends.
No.
It never ends, Carson. Frankie, 2 from you. Frankie Walnut's Art. What excites you more, buying a new guitar, a new pedal, or a new amp?
Oh, man, it all depends. Right, I'll give you an idea. When I bought this, which has been a dream guitar of mine for a long time, this old SG, actually Les Paul, but SG. But the reason I was so excited about this guitar is basically because I had that amp. So I knew I was so excited about plugging this into the Matchless and just going, well, hey! because I know how that amp responds to all my guitars. So I think the excitement works hand in hand. And there have been times, like when I got the Z80, so excited about that because I wanted to hear my guitars in that amp. So the two definitely work together. I just use that story as an excuse to pick this guitar back up.
Another way to frame it, says Sheridan's TV, is what are your minimal requirements for connected playing? Yeah.
Connected playing. That's exactly the right phrase. Connected playing.
So on that, I think two things. Sometimes when I hear people say certain things, I'm like, one, maybe you've never experienced it.
Right.
Maybe you've never had that thing where you're like, oh my God, this is the thing.
Yeah.
Or you get it all the time and it doesn't matter what you use. You sat there with whatever, and you get it.
Yeah.
It just happens for you. And that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful if that was the case. But I do think there's a lot of people who've never had it, who've never gone,
completely.
holy shit.
Yeah.
That's it.
Completely.
Yeah.
But once you've experienced it, it's crack. It's so addictive.
Well, Marco C says, connected to what? What would you describe as connection, Dan?
So, when I'm connected to this sonically, what's happening? The best way I can describe it is it's a feedback loop. But the feedback isn't from the amp or from the guitar. It starts here. It starts something internal. And so there's an idea. There's like, okay, I'm going to, there's a chord. And then there's a resonance. And that feeds back into my ears, but into my person. And that feedback loop, if the amp is, if there's a certain amount of sound pressure level and it helps the guitar resonate, it informs that and it strengthens that connection. And what I find is when I'm connected, stuff will come out that I haven't practiced. The sound will lead me in a direction. And that's when I feel connected. When I'm not connected, I play awful. Everything is hard work. Everything is trying. When I feel connected, there's a flow and there's a joy. That's what the connecting thing is to me.
Same.
Yeah.
It's where time stops.
Yeah.
And you are purely in the experience of playing. And that pretty much only happens to me when I'm playing with other people. I very rarely, if ever, get it on my own. Sometimes, but predominantly it's when you're playing with other people and the music just happens. Nothing's an effort. You're not going, what overdrive pedal should I use next? You're not going, where should I put my fingers? You're not saying, what chord am I supposed to be playing over? None of that exists. And then when you hear it back, you're like, I'm not sure that was me playing the guitar.
Yeah.
Because you can't remember it and you play stuff that you didn't really think that you had the ability to play. Not necessarily in technique or crazy scales or anything like that, but just in the way that it comes over. Might be 3 notes.
Yeah.
But in the way that it comes over, and that's what being connected is for me. And I happen to take the view that all art exists there and it doesn't exist outside of that. So that's why we take it so seriously. I don't want to get like too boring about it, but all art and all creativity happens there. Yeah. Now it's totally fine if your main objective tonight is to go do the gig, it's a means to an end, you don't like it, to get paid, to come home, that's cool. If you do it for that reason and it pays the bills and whatever, you can't be critical of that, but that's not why we do it. We're past that. We've done that to a degree. So that's it for me. It's very serious. It's a very serious matter.
Very serious.
Yeah.
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 And you all know how serious we take this, right? But the reason we take it seriously is because I can tell you emphatically that feeling of being connected and experiencing music in that way makes my life better. No question.
Yeah.
Enriches my life in a way that nothing else could replace it.
Yeah.
And it's like our thing is we hope to be able to inform and show you ways that works for us so that you can have similar experiences. And it's we think it's an honor to be able to share that stuff. And
Will Wetherington says, and sometimes the gear doesn't have anything to do with that. Yeah, I agree in part. I do agree in part, but you're never going to get there if the sound is bad or you can't hear yourself or there's something about it that's taking you out of the space. So yes, the gear doesn't get you there. It's a conduit. It's only ever, enters in through there. It's only the conduit ever.
Because the great thing that you often say, the gear helps. If the gear is doing its job, it's actually getting out of the way of you being connected.
Exactly that.
Yeah,
exactly.
And there's a Kevin Alexander says, traded in a digital rig and bought an EVH 5150 iconic 40 watt. I connected with my playing that night like I haven't in a long time.
Oh, well.
It's been too long since I've had a tube amp. Now, that's not to say anything, but it's interesting that it might be that Kevin was able to hear himself and could hear all the transients, and it just was really comfortable in that place.
Or just felt revived.
And there you go.
Yeah, so it was different enough to
give a
put him
sense
in a
of
different
enthusiasm.
place.
And it's great.
Yeah, good.
Beautiful.
Appreciate it's a bit cerebral. Appreciate it's a bit heady. Appreciate not everyone is into it for that reason, but we are.
Yeah.
Frankie Walnuts.
Hey, Frankie.
I never answered your question. So yours was guitar, was it? What excites you most? Guitar, pedal, or amp?
Oh no, it's they all work together. The guitar has to work. I get excited about a new guitar because I've got wonderful amps to hear them through. Then I get excited about wonderful amps because I've got great guitars. So, Yeah.
I think for me, strangely enough, it's the thing that is on that most vertical point of the law of diminishing marginal returns. Because if I've bought something that's horrifically expensive, I tend not to be very excited about it. I'm more trepidatious.
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh God, is this going to be worth it? And if I buy something I don't want to buy, but I have to buy, like a bloody power supply or a tuner or cables for the studio, like I have no interest in that whatsoever. But if it's something that's like, oh, this might make a difference.
Yeah.
That's what excites me. I was really excited. The thing that's excited me probably more than anything in recent months has been modding that PRS SE Silver Sky.
So cool.
And getting the Landau ML DeVille.
Yeah, amazing. So, and Kevin has just come back and says, even playing at a decent bedroom level, I could feel a difference. It's a tactile thing for me. I want to turn knobs and get away from computers. Plus, I can feel a responsiveness to my playing. All these elusive terms I hear around here frequently, I experience them for myself. I mean, there you go. Very good.
Yeah.
Well done, mate. That's brilliant.
Yeah. David Burke says, for me, the connection is analogous to what happens in sport. There's a lot of technique basis that goes behind both, but in the moment you almost let go of conscious thought and just flow. Yeah, and not just sport, it's everything. It's absolutely everything in life. The flow state. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway.
There you go. Wonderful.
Thanks, David. I'm going to stop, otherwise I'll start banging on. Frankie Walnuts Art, again, he says, is there a specific frequency that every guitarist should cut from their sound, i.e. 1K? For example, and if so, should every guitar player own an EQ pedal?
I would say no. There's no specific frequency that everyone should cut, but I think every guitar player should be aware of frequencies. Should be aware of all of them. Should be aware of different frequencies and different positions, like in front of the amplifier. Excuse me. If you've got a sound that uses a lot of upper mids, and you've got your guitar amp right behind your feet and it's pointing at the face of someone in the audience, they're not going to have a great time. Because you're not going to be able to hear yourself, you're going to keep turning up till you can hear yourself. Excuse me. So I think being aware of frequencies and being aware of the space in the room, I think is super, super important.
Yeah. And the relationship of that when you're playing on your own and when you're playing with other people, because when you're playing with other people, you can always take out the mud frequencies, 2 to 400, 2 to 500, and you can always roll off some bottom end in a big way.
Yeah.
So the focus tends to be with guitars, the exciting frequencies, the mids and the trebles. And we just want to keep turning up the bass because it sounds fat and lovely. But actually scooping out some of that boxy stuff. Like you'd always take 400 out of a bass drum, for example, because
Right.
it sounds boxy, and it's the same for guitar amps.
Like a
Particularly
Volvo.
When you they're boxy, but they're
they're
good.
I love that film.
Was it Crazy People?
Crazy people.
Dudley Moore?
Yeah.
Was it? Anyway, yeah. Good luck, Frankie. Should every guitar player have an EQ pedal? They're really useful. I know Bukovac is a massive fan, and it helps him sculpt things just to get it sat right. But I, like most things, you've got to really understand what it's doing before you start leaping for those sliders, because you don't have to move them far to get quite the radical change.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe. Anthony Calderisi, he says, boys, cheers from Chicago.
Ah, sweet home.
Mick, did you confirm the pickups in your 345 are early patent numbers? They're supposed to be the same construction as late PAFs. I acquired a pair, had to flip the magnet on the bridge pickup for proper phase. Yeah, I believe they are. And the people that I've spoken to would say it's highly likely that they are, even though the guitar's 65. I've heard people say they've seen PAFs all the way into 64 and some 65s with gold, because the gold ones they made them, but the gold ones didn't get used as quickly. Now, that might just be a convenient bit of lies that makes me feel good about my guitar, but I'm fairly sure they are patent numbers that are similar to late PAFs. Yes, I am fairly certain of that.
Cool.
Similar to you, because the guitar was stereo, they're out phase with one another. But I actually like that.
Yeah.
It does a cool thing.
That's a very cool thing.
So I hardly ever use it in the full middle position, both volumes up. But when you turn one of the volumes back, they come comparatively more into phase again, and it sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's great.
So I dig it. I dig it. Metallic oatmeal. That sounds horrific. I bet you could sell it to kids though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the metallic was some sort of glossed silver candy stuff, then for sure.
Yeah. Metallic oatmeal says a show idea, reverb and trem pedals. There's a new Crazy Tube Circuits White Whale, Keeley, Zoma, Strymon, Fender, Milkman, Source Audio, Surfy Bear, and Imperial preamp. Yeah, we should. We have done the new White Whale, Crazy Tube, but you're right. What's the one that everyone's got? The Strymon one.
The Strymon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one.
Why is that name not come to memory? Because I don't have an emotional attachment to it. It is called not the Lex, not the Iridium, not the
Flint.
There you go. Oh man. Yeah, they sound great.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone is saying that apparently Metallic Oatmeal, Tim Houston, 1638, says steel cuts oats.
Steel cuts oats. Okay.
Yeah. Are they milled? Is that how you... Anyway, whatever. Let's not go down that road. We could be in a whole grain cereals conversation. I'm happy. Scotty K says, hello Legends from Seattle. Hello to Seattle. My first tube amp, it was a Hot Rod Deluxe, and it developed a fuzzy buzzing noise and sounds a bit like tremolo. Any advice before I go and see the tech?
So what I would say is have a look in the back of the amp and see if there's any valve glowing a different color than the rest of them. It's just a simple visual thing, because it might be that the one of the preamp tubes, and I would dare say the phase inverter may have gone. Have a look at the power valves, and if one of the power valves is gone and you're only amplifying one side of the wave, then it could be that. But if the valve is like glowing blue, like bright blue, and all the one else is just sort of glowing a lovely red, then that might be it. There might be a simpler fix.
Replacing that. If it's gone really quiet and it's really fuzzy buzzy, like you'd almost think the speaker was broken, could be the speaker. But a really, really common fault on Blues Deluxes, and I would therefore guess Hot Rod Deluxes, there are these two big resistors that work in the power section, big white things, and they are prone to going. And any amp tech will know that because they will have seen quite a few of them. So I would, do what Dan says, check the obvious things, but then, take it to a tech and have it looked at. It's funny, amps like the Hot Rod Deluxe get a bad reputation because a lot of them get fixed. A lot of them get fixed because a lot of them get used.
Yeah, there you go.
And there's like 100 Hot Rod Deluxes out there for
every
certain other amplifier we could mention. So, they do. And of course, the great benefit of that is most amp techs know what to do when you take it to them. And I don't think there's anything massively complex in there, so they should be able to fix it. Unlike the bloody Dodd rubberneck that I looked at today. Anyway, Simon V. Good luck, by the way. Simon V. RDJ. Dear D&M, last Friday's video showed how bad noise can be in a rig. Any chance of a follow-up show having to rid such noise from those very pedals? Yeah, Dan, I probably caught it at the top of the show, Simon. Hello, by the way. Dan's going to delve into the lexicon. I have delved into the rubberneck a little bit with not much joy, so I might send it to somebody to have a look at.
Tom's saying lost sound. Are we good? Everyone good? Looks good.
Yeah, we've got a low bit rate, unfortunately, so it might be freezing out there. Hopefully you'll still get it.
And that's just talking about the amp. It just says lost sound. Okay.
Headroom 1 says, Mick, my WTF comment on your previous video was meant for a different channel. Please forgive. Of course. I think I did. I put in some tasty answers to a few people this weekend. I shouldn't read the comments when I've had a few ciders done. That's the truth.
No, step away. Okay, audio good here, says Eagle Ray. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a real pain, Simon, because you do, like, as I found out as I delved inside the Dodd, you do need quite a lot of knowledge. So I'm there looking at a very modern surface mount small city of components that I can't even see. Like, let alone, I thought, oh, maybe I could have a look at the BBDs because that's going to be noisy, right? But there's no point in me doing anything like that because then it could be filtering, it could be anything else. Plus, where they're populated on the board, like my soldering iron would go across about 5 components even before you could get one of them out. And interestingly, I read a few forums and apparently Dodd won't fix them either. It's just the warranty replacement.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's something, well, I don't want to single Dodd out about that because it's every modern pedal manufacturer pretty much. So they're not economic to repair and there's something deeply wrong about that. But, that's the world we live in. That's the world we live in. But yes, it would be good, wouldn't it, to chase it down. There's got to be a diagnostic process. Dan, you must go through that all the time.
Completely.
Which is what?
Well, it's what you're trying to do is take everything back to the absolute bare minimum. So, like, with the amp, plug your guitar straight to the front. Just make sure it's not the board. Then, if you want to check the speaker, you're checking the connection across the speaker, making sure the speaker hasn't blown and that it's not gone open circuit. just simple things like that. But it's a process of elimination. If you can eliminate one thing, it gets back to you'll find what it is. But all I would say is if you're not comfortable poking around inside an amplifier and you can't see anything obvious, those amps are pretty good to work on, and take it to a decent amp tech and they'll get it sorted.
And as for pedals and stuff, Simon, it's just technology has really improved. I think that's one thing that really hit home to us, how good modern pedals are to get all that processing.
Oh man,
a good stereo reverb pedal for guitar that can take line level is going to significantly outperform that Lexicon rack unit. Significantly.
Yep.
And that's just where we are, we're lucky about that, I think.
Yeah.
But because that particular Lexicon rack unit was a cost-effective option, right? It wasn't a high-end thing. Now, the high-end stuff of the period, different game. That's a different conversation, but yeah. Very quick yes or no question, Daniel, from Robert Kidd 6270.
Yes.
He says, can I change channels and MIDI pedals simultaneously with the Gigrig G2?
Yes. Yeah, the MIDI on G2 it's very simple. It just sends PC messages, but yes, you can do it. And there are also remote switches in the back of G2, which can, if your amp has a latching foot switch in, which a lot of the channel switching amplifiers do, then you can just put a TRS cable from the back of G2 into the back of the amplifier and program which channel on the amp that you want within a preset.
So I'm laughing. Daniel Mincher says, be careful in an amp. Voltages can kill. So one hand in your pocket at all times. Yeah, I take it to a tech. But then John Pardo replies, and the other one throwing a peace sign. It's an Alanis Morissette lyric.
That's
well
right.
done, guys. That's very
Very
funny.
good.
Very, very funny.
Very good.
Very, very funny. Very funny. Very funny. Very funny. Oh. Moving right along. Seth Rowe. Hey, Seth. He says, Ian Thornley and Big Rec just released a new album. He's a monster player. He's also a great vocalist. That's good. I'm looking forward to listening to that. Favourite guitarists who also sing?
And Neil Finn.
I knew he was going to say that. Joey Landreth.
Yep. Andy Partridge, XTC.
There's got to be millions.
Yeah,
Doyle Bramall.
there you go.
Eric Clapton. Mark Knopfler.
All those guys.
All those guys.
Yeah.
There's many, aren't there? There's many.
Blake Mills.
Oh, yeah. Goodness me.
Yep.
Goodness me. Bonnie Raitt. Sarah Jarosz. I'd love to have her on the show with that 8-string thing she plays.
Yeah. We've got a couple of
O'Donovan.
We've got a couple of amazing guests coming up, actually.
We do. We do.
Which is very
We
exciting.
get back on the guest bandwagon, as it were.
Yeah.
We've been a bit remiss with guests just recently, so we need to get more on. But yeah, oh man, there's loads. Aren't there loads?
Loads and loads.
Just loads. Chris Costabile, hopefully your suggestions are all coming in, people. Lowell George says Colin Diamond. Thank you, Colin, for that. Of course. Prince says Bart Vandal is donk.
Kay Cole, Samantha Fish. I'd love to have Samantha on the show. She's great.
George Benson says Simon at Kingsley.
Yep.
Yes.
Chris Squire, rest in peace. Madison Cunningham. Richard Cosson.
Madison may well be coming on the show. Very, very hoping that's going to happen. Hetfield.
Wadey 1960 CS says, where are my Swifties? Yeah. Top 10 guitar players in the world, don't you know?
Let's move on. Chris Costabile. Hey, Chris. Good to hear from you. He says, hey, D&M, for studio use, what high headroom tube amp would you get to pair with a JC120? A high watt, a 2-rock, traditional clean, or a steel string singer, or a big ass Marshall? Thanks. Blimey, Chris.
I would want to go with something that has the ability to limit quite a lot. So I'd probably go with the Marshall with that lot. The high watt is so open and has so much headroom, it would be sort of too much in the... You'd hear the JC120 next to it, and I assume it would sound a little bit anemic, but I think a Marshall on a JC120, where the Marshall's limiting a bit, and so you'd hear the spank of the JC120, I think that would sound quite good.
I'm interested in the concept of a high headroom tube amp for studio use, because those two things seem apart for me. Like, the glorious thing about high headroom amps is when you've got to play really loud so that they can give you all the dynamic. In the studio, you have the benefit of being able to use a quieter amp and making it sound big, because you don't have to drive it so hard. I mean, unless you've got a really, really nice studio, I actually think recording loud amps is much, much harder than recording quieter ones. Yeah. Because what you do is you then excite the room, and you've got a whole other bunch of physical shit you have to deal with, because the amp is so damn loud, it's going to blow all your preamps out. You need to use pads. The mic choice becomes all important. And I actually, unless you're really, really skilled, which you may well be, I am not, just for the record, it's really hard to record massive high headroom tube amps. So I would actually go for something like a mid-power twin, or even like a DeVille.
Yeah.
Or something that isn't crazy 100 watt, but actually sounds high headroom at 50 to 60 watts. And Dan's point about the Marshall makes a lot of sense there, because even though it might be 100, you get some harmonic interest. That's the other thing to say about high headroom clean amps. They're really boring until you push them. So they can sound super sterile. One of the things that really struck me about doing TPS all this time, before we started doing it and before I started recording a lot of guitar, and I started recording a lot of guitar for other people as well, so it's not just TPS, but before I knew all that, I hated small amps. I couldn't see why anyone would want to play a deluxe, Tweed Deluxe or a Champ or anything like that. It just sounded like farts to me. Because you turn it up, you plug a guitar into it, and it goes, there's no headroom, the bottom end flubs out, and it just, to me, I couldn't understand why anyone would want that. Then you record one, and it's like, oh, now I get it. Because something is transferred in that recording process that is exciting and is musical and is analog and is just beautiful in all that mess, which conversely and finally to the point is almost impossible to get out of a high headroom tube amp.
Yeah.
Because there's no fun there. It's all like the harmonics don't really develop.
Until you're at a certain point.
Yeah, and you really have to mic it super sensitively and all that. So sorry if that's too much information, but Dan's choice would be a big Marshall. Just don't ever play a 2-rock steel string singer. Or silver, whatever it's called. Steel string singer is the Dumble name, isn't it? I can't remember what the 2-rock one's called. Silver, Sterling, Signature, is it?
Yeah, that sounds good.
They are knock your socks off amazing.
Yeah.
It's a really fantastic amp with a unique envelope, with a unique dynamic. Because what it doesn't do, like the high watt and 100 watt Marshall, they punch you like with an iron fist. The 2-rock sort of, the first 1.5 centimeters of the iron fist has velvet on it. Then there's a little bit of foam rubber.
Yeah.
And then
for his protection, not yours.
And then is a 40-ton truck behind that. And it's it's a different experience. But traditional clean, awesome as well. Awesome. You know that I love 2-rock amps. Well, that was a long answer. I hope it was useful, Chris. Yeah. Yep. I'm just reading what people are saying. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Will Wetherington says, I start my new job tomorrow. Congratulations, mate. Have fun. And Jacob Rocky Music says, the Sterling is the dream amp. Yeah, it's played it at NAMM a few years ago, and it's like, even in the din of all that stuff going on at NAMM, you hear it and just go, that's just inspired.
Jake Loosemore, our friend Jake Loosemore, had a 100-watt one, and because it comes in at 150 as well, obviously. And it was just magic.
Yeah.
Just a magic thing. Gordon Rankin says, pads just add distortion in my testing. I'd love to talk to you about that, Gordon, because I've been finding the same thing. We have to pad. You have to minus 20 pad when we mic amps as loud as we do with the mics we use. And I'm going,
is there a better way?
There's got to be a better way. We must be able to use a less sensitive mic. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. And that mic you sent us, Gordon, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to hearing it. So, yeah. Kelly McClure says, on that note, wet dry, how do you mix them live? Is it right and left or as a summed single channel? Well, it's dual mono.
Yeah.
If you sum them to one mono channel, which you absolutely can do, it means you have no independent control of them. But what's quite nice is you can say to the sound engineer, pan them both straight down the middle, and I'll leave it up to you how much wet you want to put in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a groovy thing. So you get your sound on stage that works for you, and the sound guy has control over how much wet and how much dry he puts out front of house. I think it's great, as opposed to stereo, which for stereo to work, you have to have a left-right image, and then it's like the sound guy gets what he gets, and it's great. But the wet dry thing is nice because there's that little bit of extra control.
We had a lovely experience day on Friday, and I'm always amazed at the experience days because all that stuff that we talk about a lot, right? And Dan will demonstrate the vibrato into 2 amps and then make it into only 1 amp so you get natural chorus, that thing. And we've done it on the show so many times, and then you've got 6 people stood in front of you, like literally where that camera is right now, and Dan does it, and everyone goes, oh! And then someone inevitably asks the question that you've just asked, well, how do you pan that then? And it's like, you pan it straight down the middle because it sounds stereo, right? And they're like, it really does sound stereo. So it's just, one of those things you have to hear. You have to hear it to enjoy it.
Indeed.
Marvin Box. Hello, Marvin.
Hey, Marvin.
Marvin Box. He says, hello, my dear legends and the chat. Hello to the chat. It's hilarious how often the chat asks you questions that I just thought of. So please pick one from the chat for us. I wish you all a nice start to the week. Thank you, Marvin.
Thank you. I got one here.
Groovy.
This might be a bit something. Chris Liddell 2727 says, DNM, any Danalogs or Blues Implosion news?
No Blues Implosion news.
No. You got gigs coming up, though, haven't you?
Not till next year.
Oh, okay.
It was supposed to be this weekend, but we cancelled it.
Oh, okay.
For reasons I still don't really understand.
Right.
Yeah.
So you didn't cancel then?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yes. So Danalogs, 20th of November, we are playing at the Vic in Swindon. 27th of November, we're playing at Fat Lil's.
Yes.
So, yeah.
You're going to do a Christmas medley?
No.
Come on. You play 70s stuff, don't you?
Yeah, of course. We could do a whole gig of 70s Christmas medleys. That'd be great. So they'll be the last 2 gigs for this year. And then we're going to try and get something a bit more regular going next year. But yeah, 20th at the Vic and 27th at Fat Lil's.
Keep an eye on Dan's social media accounts to see dates. What are you, Daniel the Gig Rig?
Yeah.
Daniel the Gig Rig on Instagram.
Oh, that, yeah. And
the other ones. So then you'll find dates. Yeah, Blues Implosion, we did a bit and it didn't feel right, so we're not going to do any more. So, yeah. Some other stuff, maybe. We'll see. Thank you for asking. Lefty O Bass. Lefty Obey says, evening toes, did you catch John Nathan Cordy's homage to Friday's show? Cool to see another player taking on the challenge. Solid choices and tasty tones. Nobles Mini he had. Boss BD2, a delay verb. Cheap ISO power, but with no wobbliness. No, I didn't. I watched that. John always gets great sounds, doesn't he? Always gets great sound. I think it does help when you're that good a guitar player.
Yeah. Yeah, he's fabulous.
That does help things along somewhat. It's interesting, isn't it? Because we've always said like the basis of a do anything pedal board is some overdrive, some delay, and a wobbly, and that can make you cover so much, or it can get you to cover so much ground.
Yeah, completely.
Particularly if that wobbly can go from very slow to very fast, because all the slow stuff gives you chorusy, flangey, doubling E, those effects, and anything fast can kind of mimic a Leslie, sort of mimic a vibe, maybe even a tremolo if you set it in a certain way, and you can just get a flavour of everything. Lots of people I know don't and have never used delay.
Yeah,
and that would have been me years ago before we knew each other. But it's very hard to live without delay these days.
Yeah. Yeah, I love your use of delay.
Certainly couldn't live without reverb.
Yeah.
So, BV, thank you. Yes. Any news on the Bigsby springs that Gordon sent? I got them, BV. Thank you. So I don't need the other one. Thank you very much for thinking of me. And I forgot Frankie's Miss Super Chat. I don't think we did. I think we did them both together. But thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, mummy. Starting to make old man noises. Will Kiefer. Hey, Will.
Hey, Will.
Thanks for all you do. What's a question people never ask you, but you wish they would? Would you like £1,000,000? Is the one I would like to get asked. £1 million.
£1 million. Man, how do I stay so handsome and young looking?
Yeah, there is that.
That would be a great question to get asked.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. That's a really tough one.
It is, because we get asked lots of things.
Yeah.
And
well, I don't get asked that, but
we do our best to answer. Question you wish you got asked. The question I wish people would ask themselves more. Actually, I don't wish anything. Wishing things is not part of one's shall we say, healthy consciousness.
Oh man, I've just spent a weekend in Cornwall. My wish list is now full again.
Yeah,
That's not good. I understand it's not good.
Don't wish anything.
Little place on the river.
Content with, well, yeah. So you want a little place on the river, so get it.
Okay, thank you.
Put a plan into place.
Thanks, everyone. It's been great. I'm off to my little place on the river.
Put a plan in place and do it.
Yeah, completely. That's
it. Because otherwise, they're just
wishes.
They're non-realised wants, and non-realised wants are suffering.
Yes.
Anyway, I don't want to get into that. A question that I think more people should ask themselves is, do I sound good?
That's a great question.
And what can I do to sound better? And I know anyone watching this is going to be asking them themselves that question all the time. Not to like a navel-gazing, self-hating sort of level that Dan and I have got to. But the self-loathing is high in this one. But in a sort of, like, I'll go and watch a band, right? And this happens so much nowadays, and it actually makes me physically angry, which I've written in the comments a few times. I'll walk in to watching a band play, and it usually sounds okay. Sometimes it sounds really good, actually. Mm-hmm. And then I don't want the guitar to be knocking me over. I don't want that, unless it's Doyle Bramall. But I don't really want that. I want the guitar to be sat in its appropriate place in the mix, sounding good, which it normally does. And let's say it's a song like, I don't know, Rosanna.
Okay.
Or Dancing on the Ceiling. Or something that's got like a killer guitar solo that somebody put a lot of work into making sound awesome. The time comes and I'm like, great,
Here it comes.
They're actually playing Jump. Here comes the solo. Or they're playing Dancing on the Ceiling. Here comes the solo. Carlos Rios or whoever it was that played it. I don't know who played it. But anyway.
Nothing.
Nothing. Literally cannot hear you because someone has said, Dave, you're too loud. And Dave's gone, sorry. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Stop saying sorry, Dave. Yeah, I just, my heart breaks when I see that. And you know, the opposite is just as awful, isn't it? When you walk in and Dave's just bought a 100-watt Marshall and he's just getting used to it, and you're like, no, Dave, no.
But I would rather that than the other one.
Yeah,
personally.
I think I would.
Yep.
I think I would. There you go.
Texas Blues Alley says, moment of silence for Dave.
Yeah.
Moon says, Dave's not here, man.
Sorry.
Uh,
I know.
Ooh. Mark Gas Station says, I just made my first guitar show purchase, a 1977 Carvin DC50. I
Wow.
love those old Carvin amps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. The XB100. Come on.
Yeah.
Fabulous. That's the...
His name was Stevie Vai.
That's right.
Anyway, I've got to just stop banging on about it. I was saying to Dan, I've just got to detach from from caring about it. It's like, just do your thing, stay in your lane, do your thing, stop moaning about it.
Yeah.
Just do your thing.
Yeah.
Our problem is we have this YouTube channel where we sort of
We hang it all out there.
hang it all out there, yeah. Thanks, Will. Thanks for the question. Steve Mass, hello Steve. He says, in an upside down world, Stevie Ray Vaughan plays metal and Black Sabbath play Texas blues. Who do you gravitate toward? So here's a controversial opinion then. I think there's more linking Stevie Ray and Black Sabbath than there is linking Black Sabbath and certain other metal bands I could
Yeah, I
mention
completely get that.
because of the swing.
Yeah. Yeah, AC/DC.
Yeah,
That's the swing. It's got to have that.
yeah.
Phil Rudd.
But it would be Black Sabbath for me as a child, I think. Mind you, it would have been fascinating to hear Stevie Ray play metal, wouldn't it? I mean...
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to offend anybody, but I would rather suspect Black Sabbath would make a better fist of playing Texas blues than Stevie would playing metal. Yeah. Because metal came from the blues, right? Kinda.
They just had a really hard day when metal started. It's like blues wasn't quite enough.
Somebody must have done a mashup on...
Oh, Evan
Do people
Ward,
still do
a couple of
mashups?
people saying early Sabbath is pretty bluesy. There you go.
Yeah. Todd Roy saying Sabbath had some jazziness to them. Bill Ward was a jazzy drummer. Yeah. Yeah. Metal came from surf, says Lambert Pig. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for the question. McLeod.
McLeod.
How do you stay so young, Connor?
Oh, my bunny. I watched that with my son about a month ago.
Right.
It's
Is it aged well?
no,
Yeah.
not the effects are brilliant. It's such a good film though.
It's a great film.
New York.
Highlander for anyone who's not in the game.
Oh, wonderful. Because you know they're remaking it.
Oh.
I have high hopes for it because the guy that used to play Superman, He's really good. He was in The Witcher
Yeah.
and a couple of things. And anyway, he is going to be the new
Henry
Highlander.
Cavill.
Henry Cavill! Hats off to you, sir. And Henry Cavill is a massive nerd.
Yeah.
Like, he's a massive Warhammer 40k nerd. And the reason he quit The Witcher is they started deviating from things. And he goes, no, I'm not up for that.
Oh, right.
Yep. And anyway, he's a big Highlander nerd and he's into it. So, yeah, we'll see. Come on, Henry.
I guess
Do us proud.
I guess my problem is I know what happens.
Yeah. I remember when they made the second Highlander, I was so excited about it. And it was one of the first films they filmed at the new studios in Sydney. And I thought, this is going to be great. And it was just garbage. Yeah. It was like The Wiz.
My dad's on. Hello, Dad. He says, was Blues Implosion the new version of Above and Beyond? Not really, Dad. Although Above and Beyond is getting together for a rehearsal on Saturday. That was the band I was in when I was young, and my dad, bless him, drove me all over the place to do gigs, and even lent me the odd pound or two to buy Mark III boogies and things like that. Thanks, Dad. Oh no. The Berry King says they should have Idris Elba in the Sean Connery role. Yeah,
That'd be great. Evan Edward said, no Queen, no Highlander. What a great observation.
yeah.
Yeah.
Think about that as a soundtrack.
Yeah.
One vision.
Who wants to live forever? It's a kind of magic. Brilliant.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, getting sidetracked once again. Connor McLeod, Rory McLeod, R McLeod says, Toes, a Mesa Express 550 popped up locally for a good price. Is it worth it for rock and roll, pop, soul, and soft rock? Leaning Mesa over a Cornford Hurricane. Thanks. As you know, I am a fan of Mesa amps. The 550, the Express, was sort of came after the Mark series. I've got a feeling some of those even had a graphic on, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
And I think they were aimed at... Mesa had this huge turning point, right, in 91, whenever it was, 91, when the dual rectifier came out. Before that, Mesa Boogie had been known for small, very powerful 1x12 combos, predominantly, like that one down in the corner. Mark 1s, Mark 2s, Mark 3s, and also some of the bigger heads and cabs that ended up getting used in a lot of heavy music, but also getting used in a lot of clean and jazz and fusion and all that. Anyway, that was Mesa's world. The dual rectifier comes along, and all of a sudden, a whole generation of people assume Mesa Boogie is a metal amp, because
yes,
they
of course.
just ended up getting used on every hard rock band for God knows how long. And I think the eventual point is the Express series came along within that to say to people, look, we still do these small, versatile, really powerful, do-it-all type amps. And my memories of the Express series was really good. So you get a clean channel, an overdrive channel, which you don't get in the Hurricane. I think the Hurricane is a single channel 20 watt, if I'm trying to remember correctly. And as all Cornford amps, Martin's overdrive sound is unique and brilliant. And if that's what you want, that very particular sort of modded British thing that he does so superbly well, then the Hurricane is a great shout. I think what you'll find in the 550 is it'll be more versatile, it'll go cleaner and louder.
Yeah, right.
And across the two channels, you'll be able to do more with it. I've always been a fan because they do that loud, punchy, headroomy thing, even in 50 watt form. So yeah, I would definitely. Where are you? America. Oh no, you're in the UK. So price is going to be a big thing as well. But in the 550, expect a lot of headroom, plenty of clean, a really nice reverb, I expect. In the Hurricane, I can't remember if they had reverb or not, and expect Martin's unique take on overdrive. Martin Kidd, that is. Sorry if I didn't say that. John W777 says, I bought a Lone Star just so I wouldn't be just another guitarist with a rectifier. Then they went away. Better amp choice for what I like to play. Yeah, they were around a long time, the Lone Stars. They were around a long, long time. And great amps. I used one for years. Yeah. Yeah.
What's the love for your dad? It's nice.
Awesome. Neil Tutman says, Mick, you and I are a similar age, so I'm super impressed your dad is on VCQ. I took my dad to Curry's on Saturday to help him get a new printer. It was like I was showing him fire for the first time. Well, Dad, I hope you don't mind me sharing this. Dad phoned me last night and he said, I've been on this chat GPT thing you've been telling me about, and he's trying to design a poster for his country and Western thing. And he got a bit stuck. I mean, I don't know. I've got no idea how to use chat GPT, but there you go. My dad is 82. He sings, and he's on ChatGPT trying to make a poster for his country night. Good on you, Dad. Yeah. Plink Stringley. Hi, DNM. You are in the world's biggest, best and largest music store in 1975. They have every new, used and vintage piece of gear you can think of. You have to choose one guitar, one amp, one pedal, and one record to play along with.
Oh, boy. Okay. Let me think. 1975. Okay. I'm going to go with... just want to make sure this album's right.
Because they've got vintage gear as well, you see.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm going to have a Burst.
Yeah.
A 1959 Gibson Les Paul Standard. And if I can have whatever Dumble Overdrive Special they've got there, I'm going to have that. But you could only really get them from Dumble. So in that case, I'm going to have a Black Flag 68 50 watt Plexi. Pedals in 75 is going to be tough.
Yeah. I think would actually be quite similar. In 1975, it would be a...
I wouldn't be buying new 1975 gear, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. I'd probably be looking at an SG and a Marshall and probably an Echoplex, and I'd be wanting to play along with Gentle Giant.
Nice. Echoplex is a great shout.
Mm.
Yeah. So seeing as Dan has chosen the Echoplex, I'm going to go with an original Mark I cheese wedge tone bender.
Nice. Ah, that is lovely.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the Marshall and the Les Paul.
Yeah.
And the record, 71 was such an unbelievable year for records. But I guess we're going to choose one from 75, are we?
No, from anywhere. From anywhere up to 1975.
Okay. Well, it's potentially controversial in guitar terms because it's not a big guitar record, but it's What's Going On by Marvin Gaye.
Oh man,
I still listen to that record at least once a month. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, so good.
Yeah. Not Led Zeppelin, not Hendrix. Love all that, but I just that record. When did Rumours come out? That was later, was it?
The room is 78.
Is it
I
later?
think. I don't know. It might be probably way off.
Anyway,
see.
thank you for the great question, Plink, and I rather hope loads of people are coming.
Rumors by Fleetwood Mac. 1977.
Greasy Kitchen is saying 1975, buy up the old Strats for cheap. Yeah, that's what Clapton was doing, wasn't it? That's how he got to Blackie and some of the other Strats. He ended up, he would buy them and swap the necks and the bodies, I think is what he did. Yeah. Apparently the Space Echo wasn't out by 75. Well, how did Jimmy Page use it then?
Not the Space Echo, the Echoplex.
Echoplex. Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah, Echoplex was well out.
Yeah. There we are. Good. What a lovely question.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you.
Jeff Martin. Hello, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Actually, we might need to speed up a bit. Jeff Martin. Good day, gentlemen. I play a silent stage with a Tonex. Let's have a moment of silence for Jeff.
Jeffy. He plays with the Tonex. Oh, it's very sad.
Well, it's a nice song, isn't it? What's going on?
Jeffy.
There's no need to escalate, Jeff. You know we've got to find a way to get your volume here today. Yeah. We're gonna, if we get a copyright strike for that.
Jeffy.
Can you hear that? Can you hear Marvin actually spinning? My next door neighbour, I shit you not, I've got a picture of him and Marvin Gaye at a party.
With the trousers down.
Well, he was in the Household Cavalry and Marvin's wearing his gold helmet.
You told me that story. That is amazing. Okay.
Anyway, yeah, it'll all be in the memoirs. And they're not even my memoirs. So anyway, Jeff, you play a silent stage with a Tonex. I want to use my Marshall Blues Breaker. It's not a quiet amp. Is an aux box still my best solution? I was hoping they would update it, but that's not happening. We did a show on attenuators just recently, Jeff, and we played a few. One was the new 2 Notes Load Box 2. Is that what it's called? 2 Notes. Is it? No, not Load Box. Anyway, that. A Palmer one, which was analog, and then we also did the Boss Mini Wazza one.
Yep, for the core.
And one other. What was the other? Oh, the power station.
The power station.
The Fryette power
Fryette
station.
Power station.
So I think the answer is all of them can attenuate, and they all do a good job of that. So then it's, what do you need? Do you need a direct feed? Do you want it to have its own onboard delays and reverbs and things like that? And that will probably make the decision for you.
Mm-hmm.
And the aux is pretty excellent, actually, because it's a good attenuator and you get the benefit of UA's plugins and stuff should you want to use a direct feed. The only thing that scares me about that world is any kind of app control.
Yeah.
Like, it works, right? Loads of people use auxes. Actually, to be fair, loads of people use auxes, not with the app. And you can load in presets so you don't need the app. Live, is that right? Am I getting that right? I think you can.
Yeah, you don't have to. You can plug it in and it'll all sound good, but the app is what gives you a level of control.
Yeah, that's right, because on the front panel here, that rig, I believe, that rig thingy gives you
Oh, you got your different options.
a bunch
on
of
there.
presets
Yeah,
you can save. So
That's
you,
right.
I think I'm right in saying, please check this. You don't necessarily need to have the app connected, because I don't know about you guys, but whenever I use an app with anything, it always goes down.
Yarp.
And then even if it doesn't go down, I'm panicking about it going down. Oops. I'm panicking about it going down. Keep doing that. Panicking about it going down, and therefore I can't get my head into what I'm supposed to be doing. So,
Yeah.
but I like all the back end stuff in the aux because you benefit from UA's plugins. So write a list of the features you want, and that will determine. Maybe check out that show we did, and that will determine the unit you buy, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant.
And some of them do stereo. Like the aux doesn't do stereo. Do you need stereo? If you do, it's not the aux, etc.
Alex241 says, was the guy who played the prison guard in Shawshank Redemption in Highlander? Yes, he's the Kurgan. And he's the guy that sings New York, New York, while she's screaming.
Andy?
Andy. Take a drink of water.
I just want to clarify something I just said. You can only use 1 amp. It does do then stereo out in terms of the effects.
Yeah, because it adds, you can have stereo reverbs and shenanigans.
Yeah, but if you've got 2 amps, no, you haven't. You've got 1. I think it's a good solution. And it looks so nice.
It does. It looks so pretty.
It's so pretty. Good luck, Jeff.
Yes,
And
good luck, Jeff.
Be genuinely interested to hear that if you do go down that route, whether things change for you, whether you enjoy it more, whether you enjoy it less, whether the hassle's not worth it. Because I think, obviously, Dan and I have a fair level of motivated cognition on this. We want to see people moving away from digital rigs and going back to some sort of analog world because we think the music's better as a result. But obviously we're massively biased, so I'm really interested to hear from people who do it.
Teddy Bear says he is also the voice of Mr. Krabs on SpongeBob. I didn't know that, but it makes a lot of sense now. And lots of compliments for our rendition. Will Wetherington says my cat just threw up in his food bowl, and then Gordon Mackin says both the dogs are wailing. Yeah, so we do what we can to bring the vibes and the good tunes to you guys in VCQ. That's what we do. So glad you enjoyed that rendition of Jeffy.
Jacob Rocky Music says valves are deemed hazardous and are all confiscated and you're forced to play a digital rig. What are you using? Or is it just goodbye cruel world? Doesn't matter, does it?
No, whatever you put, whatever you
cheapest.
say, whatever you say.
Whatever's cheapest.
Yeah, I'd have my Wazza headphones and just put little microphones in front of that and just go for your life.
Yeah, I would buy whatever I could figure out the UI on quickest. That's what I would buy. And I think it's all about UI, isn't it?
It is.
So yeah, that's what I would use. Craig Dovebloke says, Mick, how are you getting on with the new specs? Not good, Craig, if I'm honest. The screen ones, I'm just going to phone them up tomorrow and say they ain't working, they're too strong. The varifocals, it's quite interesting. Like when I'm driving and stuff, if my field of vision is ahead and up and down, it's not too bad. The minute I have to look left, right, down like that, everything's bent. I can't do it. So yeah, I'm back to my old multiple things for single things. So whether they'll offer me any sort of refund, I doubt it, but we'll see. Anyway, good. D and M and B and K and R, says Ran's there. Hello, Ran. Good to hear from you, buddy.
Mate.
He says, I love Friday's show. I finally got a Marshall SV20H 20 watt plexi, and wow, I got it for my SG, but the Strat tones as well.
Strats and Marshalls, man.
Yeah, it's a thing. He says, how do I set up the delay and reverb in the loop so they're not over the top? Now, I can't remember on the SV series, but on many other Marshalls, you'll have a level control, how hot the loop is. And what you need to do is probably set the mix level on your delay and reverb very low.
Yeah.
I'm always amazed. I'm always wondering. Let's take the Source Audio Collider, for example. I don't know if this is a good example or not, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm always amazed at people who run their mix knob up here, right? Because mine's down here. On most delays and reverbs that I use, the effect level
It's quite low.
and or the mix knob is very low because you're hitting it with such a lot of signal.
Yeah, and also it's going into an amp that's turned up, and the amp is got a the lovely bit of limiting and just doesn't need a lot.
I still don't fully understand that.
It's
Like-
with the amps, you mean?
When we did that show with the amps and we had the delay going in the front, and even though the amps were the same volume, the splash of extra reverb in the amp with lower headroom was colossal.
Yeah.
And I still can't quite understand why it's
because it's
so
a
different.
massive compressor at the like at the front end. There's-
right, okay.
Yeah.
So it's that. It's
Yeah, exactly.
the front of the note is
So
limited
squashed.
and squashed.
Exactly.
And then it blooms.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I've never really thought about it like that before. Yeah, that's what we'd say, Ran. Make sure that the level of the loop that you're running isn't, because it will probably be able to run at -10 or +4 dB, something like that, like what you would call instrument level or line level. Those might not be the exact figures, but anyway. And the pedal is expecting to see either an instrument or a line level. So you need to align those two things. And then, I guess, set it as low as you can and then just bring it up till you're happy. Now, the problem comes when you go from your clean sound or one sound to another sound which is much louder, so that the pedal gets more signal, which excites the reverb and delay so much more, so then it becomes overwhelming, as per your question. And that can happen in the front too. So if you've got your overdrives and stuff before a delay going into the front of them, same thing can happen. That's the one reason Andy Timmons, for example, uses an expression control for the level of the effect. So depending on what delay and reverb you've got, it might be worth looking at an expression control for effect level, and then in that way you can have as much or as little delay and reverb as you want. It gets slightly more complicated if you've got delay and reverb from two separate pedals. Then you have to get into MIDI, get it all in a MIDI controller, and use the expression pedal to control both levels. Such as the sort of thing you can get involved with the Gig Rig G3.
Oh man.
Hope that helps, Ran. Scott Pickett. I'm sorry, Scott. Scott Pickett says, "Hi, gents from North Carolina. I get to watch live for a change.
Oh, great.
Good to have you with us,
Yeah,
bud."
mate. Well done.
He says, "No question. Take one from the chat, and thanks for all you do for the guitar community." Thank you, Scott.
Okay. Let's see. Well, here's a really good question, actually, from N. McGregor. What do you want to happen to all the gear you have when you go to play the great gig in the sky?
I'll have sold it all before then
Yeah.
to yeah. It'll probably get sold for care. I mean, the stuff that's not worth much, hopefully start giving it away from about now, because it's going to take that long.
Yeah. But let's say walk out of here and it's like, what do I want to have to happen? Well, just to go to my family and the kids, and I'd give this to Zach and give red to Liv, and then everything else would be sold and go to teen. And that would be it.
Yeah, it'd be nice to leave something to your loved ones.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd do.
Yeah. Every now and again, quite infrequently, I will just give something to somebody. Like, if they really bond with it or they like it,
Yep.
and it's going to help them, I will do that. And I like the idea of doing that. But yeah, the guitars will get sold to pay for care and stuff like that, unfortunately, and for living. Because let's say Daniel and I aren't exactly well planned for in our old ages, are we?
Right.
As is the case with a lot of people of our generation, So, yeah, let's not think about that. Mark, we are going to get to you because you're next. Mark Gallagher. He says, you say great question a lot. What's a crap one?
Oh, that. No, that was a good question.
There are no bad questions,
No.
Mark. Genuinely, as long as the asker is interested in an answer.
Yeah.
Because a lot of questions get asked rhetorically and they get asked sarcastically.
And they get asked in a roundabout way to show them off, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if you're asking a question and you have a genuine desire to understand the answer, it's a great question, and we will do everything we can to provide you with the answer. But yeah.
Yeah. The crappiest question from the weekend is something along the lines of, why didn't you just get a cheap digital multi-effects? Because that question would indicate that the person has never watched that pedal show, has no idea about me and Dan, and that's fine, right? Because still the vast majority of guitar players on planet Earth have absolutely no idea who we are, and that's fine, and are much less interested. But I think to arrive at a place where there is a community and ask an ignorant question straight off the bat that's a dumb question. That's a crap question, isn't it? I don't know. Am I being unfair? However, if a kid comes along and says, yeah, why wouldn't you do that? I'm confused, and I would have thought that would be a good option.
I think a lot of people
and you'd very carefully try to explain it in a way that they could understand, that it wouldn't take 35 years, which is what it's taken us.
And we're trying to be sensitive because we know that as new people come along to the show, we're talking about concepts that most of you are really au fait with, and we're all on the same page, and we want to explore that a bit deeper. But we need to keep it accessible and keep it a place. And this is one thing I'm very grateful to all of you, because we can have conversations in the chat and keep it a place that people can ask questions, and everyone's happy to chime in and say, hey, this is what you do with power, this is what you do with overdrives and whatever it is. And it's very, very cool.
Yep. Mike's Music. Hey gents, Mick, have you tried out the Uncle Larry course yet? If so, what are your thoughts? I haven't, because it's $300, and my experience with guitar courses to date are I do the first 2.5 lessons and then I stop. So
it must be extensive if it's $300.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm interested in looking at Rick Beato's new course he's done, the thing on scales and stuff. That looks really good.
The issue with courses, right, is how can I say this? The knowledge is all the same.
Yeah.
Right? So knowing how to play the guitar is the same. What a course is going to give you is a route that you understand.
Yeah.
Because, you know, being the general harbinger of doom that I am, there are no shortcuts. You just have to do the work. And I know I'm not prepared to do the work. Therefore, dropping $300 on a course is just going to result in me going, yeah, sorry, I haven't got 8 hours a day for the next 10 years. And it doesn't take that. It probably takes an hour a day for the next 5 years. But I can't even commit to that. So
it's okay.
it does actually take 8 hours a day for 10 years, by the way. But it depends what your goal is, doesn't it? Because Dan and I are in this really weird vantage point where we like literally sit next to the best guitar players in the world for our jobs all the time. And you just get it handed to you that there is no substitute.
I've all done the work.
So what's your... Now, so then is that an unreasonable goal to go, well, I want to get to where they are? Yeah, it is an unreasonable goal. Can I be a bit easier on myself by saying, actually, if I just take 10% of this, that'll be worth it? Yeah. Yeah, that's probably a good way to do it.
Oh,
that's nice. Now drop one. Yeah, thank you.
Then.
Oh, no, now it's just got spacey.
It's got a bit Kevin.
Anyway, has anyone else got the Uncle Larry course and are they finding it useful? Yeah, anyone else got Uncle Larry's course? Persuade me to buy it. Go on. Let me know. If you're typically using more than one guitar with your rig, says Brian Carpenter. Hello, Brian.
Hello, Brian.
Which would you choose to set up your amps and pedals? Great question. The loudest one? The brightest one? Or do you use your guitar and volume and tone knobs to dial them back? We get asked this a lot, Brian. So let's say you've got, in Dan's case, an SG and a Telecaster to play with his rig. Would you set the sound up with the SG or the Tele?
I set it up with the guitar that I play the most, but what happens is the reason I bought this SG and not a different SG is because this SG works with my Tele. So if I set the tone up that sounds great with my Tele, I know it's going to sound great with this guitar. I don't have to compromise between them and go, well, it's bright enough for the Tele, it's a bit dark for the SG. I find it like, no, I found a guitar that's bright and sits alongside the Tele. So it's very important to me that my guitars sit alongside each other and that you hear the instrument. I don't want to have a different setup for this and the Tele and stuff. So yeah, I love bright sounding guitars. I love that transient. And so I needed to find guitars that sit with red. So I guess I do set it up for red, but then all the guitars have to play nice with red.
Yeah, so start with the thing you use the most.
Yeah.
And then kind of maybe a little bit of back and forth just to optimize. I definitely have, so if I'm playing a Gibson and a Fender, for example, the Strat and either a Les Paul or a 335, there'll be pedals that I lean on more, gain pedals that I lean on more for the Strat, and others that I lean on more for the 335 or the Les Paul. So that can be one way to do it. But yeah, and I think that what Dan alludes to is if you've got two guitars that are so radically different, it might be that you then have to make some other changes on the pedal board to mitigate for that. Like Dan's 321 switcher, for example, has got switchable volume preamps on each thing. So if you go from like a super loud, crazy loud guitar to a really quiet one, you might want to add some oomph.
Yeah, so
either using something like the 321 or a boost pedal or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you do what both Dan and I have done and ended up with guitars that do all sit together quite nicely, you don't really have to mess about too much.
Yeah, this is the only guitar that I need to add a little bit of boost with it because it's so much quieter.
You're taking the
than
screw
red.
out.
I have taken the screw out. I'm trying a different method.
Yeah. Have you rewired the switch?
That's going to be the different method. I'm going to take that out and just parallel it over so I can just go there. Because the screw was a bit janky.
Yeah.
And I kept having to go, I'd push it and I'd push the screw in the wrong position. But I do love the guitar. The neck on this is remarkably similar to my 65, you know.
Quite a lot of roundness.
Yeah.
What was the one was it 63, the one that he loves the most?
Yeah, that original 63.
Is it 63?
Yeah.
They are round. They are round. I hope that answers the question, Brian. A couple more to go. We should hurry up because we're 7:05. The Hobo Roadie says, rock on. Yeah, man. Rock on. BV is perhaps trying to remind me of something. Oh, BV saying he's seen Uncle Larry's course. It's very good, but definitely not for beginners. Yeah. And finally, Alex Jewell. Hi, Alex. Thank you for your question. And Alex says from Canada, hey guys, I love the show and thank you for the internet introducing me to Kingsley pedals. I'm looking to get my first one and I can't decide between a Minstrel version 3 or an Alexander.
Ooh.
Dan, do you know the Minstrel? Harlot is the one you...
The Harlot is the one that I use, but I do know the Minstrel. I've got the V1 of the Minstrel. That's really great. They're quite different, those two.
I'm just trying to get to Kingsley amplifiers. I don't know what so we know that the... Did you say Alexander? Is that what you said?
Yes, the Alexander.
We know that the Alexander is specifically de-voiced. That is to say, dumbly. I have it on my board and I love it.